People class, welcome to today's review of, this is a very long name, Test 70 Armored Colossus Bailu Air Combat Custom. So, before I get too deep into it, yes, I am missing that. I found it and then I lost it. No idea where it went. And then I'm also missing the crotch piece. I remember I had it in my hand. I looked away and it was gone. So is the way of model kit building. But for this review, I have to say that this and the other model kits I built that aren't Gundam, so I can't really say third party, are proving to me that unfortunately Bandai is really not in the lead anymore. The main reason I say that is that this is a metal frame built not Gundam but robot that has multiple weapons, and also know that they don't include instructions to build a second one of these. They just give you the parts. How amazing is that? And beyond that, you also get 4 drones, multiple stands are included with the price, a whole backpack setup, multiple weapons, swords, guns, and weapons that you can convert, wings, a backpack. Again, very movable, posable parts go for $70. Or you get something like Vidar, and depending on where you get them from, the price can be a little expensive for some people. Before I got into everything that this amazing model kit comes with, I want to go over the basic body, because the problem that the basic body has, unfortunately, is more than amplified, of course, with all the stuff you can add on to them. So, starting off with the head, I absolutely adore it. As I said in my Venom review, I'm a very big fan of pointed faces. It looks like a pilot helmet, in all honesty. Then of course with the ears, it just adds that little bit of flair, and then how it's smooth in the back is something that I really like in the transition, where it gives more of a human appearance. So going into the torso, it is a very obvious robot body. There is no real muscle mass, there's nothing human about it, but it is very pointy, it is very shiny, very nice, very clean, very bright, and just pop. Going into the shoulders, you have an amazing amount of detail from the top to the bottom, with the clear piece all the way to the separated pieces, and even little triangles up top that you can detail. Everything on here has a sense of detail. Even the insides of the shoulder armor has detail. So there's no real like, oh, it's just a basic model kit. No, this thing, when I tell you they told me it was $70, I couldn't believe them. The box is freaking enormous. Going to the bicep, the arm, the forearm, multiple pieces of just layered on plastic with different shades, different colors, different hues, different details, and again, it's all on the metal frame, so you have that slight bit of metal popping through it that just makes it pop. Going on to the waist, the bat skirts, I mean, they're kind of not really existent, to be frank with you. I'm leaving this in because it does not want to come out. There's nothing I'll go over tolerances with the articulation, and it is one of its biggest hard points to accept, unfortunately. The thighs, thick, beautiful, juicy as heck. Again, more detail just everywhere. Yes, this build does take a while, to be frank with you, but that's not bad in a sense. The knees, the shins, the calves, the everything, even the little tiny bit of detail. Going to the back of it with the thrusters, and it seems like there's fuel in there. It's just, everything about this guy is amazing. And then the bottom of the feet have different separated thrusters, which is amazing. And then again with that little itty bitty bit of metal popping through, it is all just a wonder and a joy to look at over time. So for the articulation, is very interesting. So this is I don't even know what kind of joint it is. It is a lunging out one that is very nice, and just with the backpack on, with just the giant massive ears and everything, it is a very welcome joint that I really do wish some other model kits could add, just because if you put it down, I mean, you get up and down a little bit at nothing, tilt to tilt. That's really it. So when you extend it, he can actually look around. Does it look normal? No, but then again, what about this dude looks normal? It's a robot, so I love the creative freedom. Going to the shoulder articulation, it is quite amazing. Of course, you have to work with it, and remember that it is on a metal frame, so it is a wee bit tight, which isn't bad, and you get amazing up. Very good. For rotation, it is a firm, strong rotation without a problem. The bicep swivel is very tight, but I like that with me and just how I like to move it. It moves with the rest of the body. There are opposable pistons. There are actual parts that move on this kit in every single range of motion. And yes, there is a butterfly, and it gets you pretty far forward and back with the piston moving in each action like an actual pec would. The elbow bend can get more than 90, almost thumb to shoulder without a problem. And then there is a ball joint in the wrist. And also, just to let you guys know, this is one of the tough parts I have with it. I'll get into it later with the accessories. For the body, again, amazing. Wonderful pistons that move as you move the kit with it. It is stunning. Oh my gosh, okay, that one isn't moving at all. But it's supposed to, I don't know why it's not. It's probably caught on something. And then for going up, the crunch, you can go pretty high. Going back, you can't really do any just because of how it's built, and I mean the metal frame mainly. Rotation, you can do a full 360, but mine is like extremely tight, so I'm not going to do that. I have no idea why it is. The kick going up is magnificent. You are on a drop down joint, so if you wanted to just, let's say, use the metal, you can, and I'm saying that because mine are very loose. I have no idea why. I don't know how to fix it. It is not plastic, so I can't just put joint tightener on it and call it a day. But if you use it, you get a straight kick, much better than the last Spider-Man, which is sad. And then you get amazing armor separation. And no piston or anything in the knee, but I like that. It's still an innovative way to do that. And then top view, stunning, beautiful. For the ankle, you get a little bit down. I mean, if you add the toe, you get a whole lot, and then you get another toe bend. You do have a little flap here that moves around. You can rotate it, but it is, mine again is tight, so it's not, I'm not trying to say it's bad tightness. It's again a weight bearing joint, so it's very, very good. The inner rotation, you just gotta work with panel to panel, make sure that they don't collide, and then you can get more than enough. Going up, he can do amazingly. Going back, he can't really because of this thruster piece, but I'm not trying to get too many poses with him going back, especially thanks to the toe articulation being able to go down that much, so I'm okay with it. Now that one of the most fun parts of it are out of the way, let's get into the bad. And the bad is firstly, oh wow, now you want to work, but the lathes. What I mean by the drop down joint and the lathes is that it's literally just a pin going through that metal bar inside to keep it in, and honestly, it is not the best. It really does hamper and doesn't really feel good to move the lathes, especially if you saw while I was trying to keep them up. As soon as you put any pressure on them, the feet start to bend in because there's no real support. There's no forward support. There's nothing there. And then as you saw on the side, rotation or articulation, it locks in. So the way that a lot of these parts work is that they're literally floating. A lot of these parts are just, you put it in and then you put the black piece over it and then it secures it in. So if you don't like that, you can glue it, but it's also like if you're gonna glue it, paint it, but then again, this guy looks so good, especially with that gold, you can just leave it as is. But for everything else, the little bits of detail, especially on the back, man, the gold, the bronze, whatever color it is just stunning. There's no real problem I have with it. And now, after I discuss the good and bad of the kit, let us get into what he comes with, and it is a lot. So first thing that he comes with, obviously, is his backpack, and as you can see, there is a giant gap, which that is the other problem I have with this kit, is the tolerances. They are not the best, unfortunately, and it seems like this piece should be able to move out, but it really shouldn't. It is not a movable piece. It is just an accessory or a good looking part. But other than that, the inner detail, the vents, the detail on the outside, everything, the separated parts, man, I mean, come on, Bandai. I mean, yes, the quality of the plastic isn't as good as Bandai at times, but like, again, all of this for 70 bucks, that is worth it. Going beyond that, you got your two thrusters with beautifully separated parts, an amazing white detail, and wonderful thrusters on the inside, if I can get the light to hit it. So yeah, the air intakes are stunning. Just from being an aviation mechanic to seeing this in a toy form, this is just outstanding. One of the parts I had trouble with the most are the amazing wings, again detail galore, and the first part is that the underside is just bare bones naked, and then to actually complete it you're supposed to put on these clear parts, but the problem with the clear parts is that they don't like to hug the spaces a lot, so what they do is they tend to warp. And then if they warp, they can't connect, so when you try to push it in, you run the risk of breaking it, and I almost did, so I don't want to do that. Also, these parts can never really go together. This is where it really comes into play if you're a great customizer or you're willing to chop a couple of things up to glue it down to make sure that they can never come apart again, so that you can actually complete this dude. Which does suck, but you know, for 70 bucks, I'm willing to spend like 20 bucks more to get some parts and glue whatever that fits them. Last little parts it comes with are the attachment for the drones, and honestly this is one of the most simple things to do. It's not complex, it's not insane, it's nothing crazy. The connections are really strong and tight. It's not like the body of where some of them can fall out or they just don't want to stay in, like the lathes, which I'm gonna have trouble working with later on, but I will deal with that. Everything is really just a positive experience when you're putting it together, but after the fact is put together is where things really start to mess with you. And I think I'm putting these all on backwards, but if I am, oops. If not, you see just how wonderful and beautiful this is. It is a splendidly simple, it is nothing drastic. I mean, it's just a small backpack on a wonderful kit on a wonderful robot. Something that building it was like, ooh, this looks ugly, but then after you put together, you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty nice. For the weapons, he comes with one long rail gun, which is my favorite gun. And also, the beautiful part of it is that, like I said before, you get two of them. It's not that they tell you that you have two optional parts, or you have enough parts to build a second one, and it goes together without a problem. Very simple, very easy, especially just swapping out the visor. And that is really the only two big differences on here, is the visor and of course the barrel, and then this, but I pushed that in and now it's stuck in there, and if I take it out I'm going to either warp the plastic or break it. So woo, it is stuck in there. And then the visor, it does have a orange clear piece inside of it. You can't really see it, but you luckily, you can kind of see it. Then on the inside there is no clear piece. It's just a two-piece open slot for, of course, the stuff to go through. You got a wonderful slot at the bottom, and the way that you connect it is you literally take off the barrel, you slide this in there, but know that once you put it in, the connection is very fragile. It's not the most secure, so it's like once you put it in, you have to be real careful of taking it out. Other than that, just upon the scope, you literally just slap it on to this bar here with a piece like this, and here is the orange scope. It's very nice. All you do is you slide it on. Once you slide on this piece, you have the visor. It's very simple. It's, I mean, gorgeous. I wish more toys did that. And for the little guys that were on his stand, those are his drones, and he comes with 4 of them. So they are actually pretty dang good, pretty cool things, especially with the thrusters in the back and actual detail. They can fold up for a little bit of storage. The wings can deploy, or let's say move forward and back, but deploy is a better word for them. And they really do just enhance. Again, a $70 figure with an amazing orange cockpit. I know this is a drone, so it's not a cockpit, but the one thing I do have to say though is that the way that they connect is on these T-piece stands, because that is how the connection port is set up. So when you put them on the stands, it's fine. It's not that big a problem. But as you saw with the problem with the body, with him barely being able to hold up his own weight, now imagine this little bit of weight on his back in one port, and now you add on 2 of these guys, so now he is definitely not able to lean forward, and then you have 2 more that go on his hip, so it just becomes a lot of weight, which I will show later with everything on him. And then for the hands that he comes with a plethora. So these ones are more of the sword holding hands that I will show later, and they do not come apart. They are a kind of, let's say, hard but flexible enough plastic where you can hold them, but because this is a sword holding hand, you don't need them to be as flexible or have a gap like the trigger finger hand does. And do know that you do have to kind of force the gun in, but because of the strength of the hand and the strength of the handle of the gun, there's no real stress that at least I have in putting it in. Not to say that you won't, because it is a little bit of a tricky thing. Then he comes with a 2-finger pointing out, so he's a very, very expressive model kit as well. Then he comes with a wonderful splayed out hand with amazing detail, or I should say digits. I can see how you say, oh well, there's not really that much detail on it. I get you. Then he comes with fists, which are also highly detailed. So the worst part about them is a ball peg. As you can see, not all of them have one. That is because the connection going into the wrist is extremely tight on both ends. Putting it into there is tight, so taking it out is a pain in the butt. But then, oh, you accidentally pulled them both out because I have to literally use these pliers to put them in and take them out. The ball joints, I mean, they are tight as heck. And does that mean that they can hold weapons? No. When you put this big thing in there, the hand will still droop. That's not the problem. Or that's not what they're for. What they're for is to stay inside the wrist, inside the peg. And that's a big for me, because it's like, why do I have to use pliers to put them in when it can't even hold the stuff that it has? I understand the whole weight properties. Not even a strong Gundam could be able to do this, but that's my down part with it, and part that I'm not really happy with. The other interesting thing of why I kind of understand it is because you get a downward peg for the sword holding hand. So you can put them in there, or you can just put the straight ones in. It's up to you. I love that they added that to where you can even put on any of the other hands. But of course they only give you 2. They only give you 3 regular pegs, which is weird. Why not 4? And then they give you 2 of the bend down wrist pads, which, you know, it is what it is. Excuse the car honking. And then for the faceplate, they are actually swappable, so you do get a full faceplate, a one-sided cut faceplate. So it's a little bit tricky to take it out as well. I don't, and I really like the double eye, so I just leave that in there. And for the reason he has side skirt holsters is really for the sword. So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's like his beam sabers, I get it. But then when I looked at them and got them out and put them together, I was like, oh, they're not just regular beam sabers, they're actually kind of swords. And then they give you a sword. I don't like this giant top part on it. It just doesn't, like, if this was the battery pack or something and then you put a little science behind it, I would understand it. But I'd rather them both have these small ones and then we only get one big one. But you know, to each their own. And the sword is long. As you can see, it is really as tall as him. And for these, if you saw on the wrist that there are these kind of open spots or open slots, that's where these go in. So you just bring it in a little bit slow. Do know that you really do have to cut off the tabs on there, unless it won't really sit straight on there. But once you get it in there, I mean, it is in there. Of course, do be careful because these are long blades, so if you drop it, you do run the risk of, I don't think you'll break the blade, I think you'll break the connection, because just like the wrist and the rest of the arm and the body, you have parts that really just sit in there, and then you have other parts that are like glued tight. Like the tolerance is so small that once you put it in, you pretty much have to break the piece to get it out. So these, I mean, you can tug, you can do whatever, they won't come out that easy. Oh, well, okay, that was a lie, but I hope you understood what I meant by that. And for putting everything on them, it really is quite simple, just with the blades, of course, detached from the gray parts, and every piece on here is on here tight. So do know that once you put it on, there's no stress of it just falling apart. You slide it in this way. And as you saw, they went, they're very tight, so let's now put on the backpack. Which I also forgot to mention that this flap does move, but it is very loose. So, I mean, while I get it, well, it doesn't have the jetpack on. When it's off, I just leave it down. And then these panels on the top do open. I think they're vents. Maybe they're guns or plasma electric guns. I don't really know. It is whatever you think it is. And for the backpack, you literally just peg it in. It is honestly a very strong connection. It's like you do have to pull on it to tug it out, and luckily, because the wings and everything are light, they're not really going to cause problems. The only problems that it causes is when you stack everything on it. And that is what the assembly looks like. Again, it's very easy, very simple. It's just that now, you gotta be kidding me, man. To attach his drones, that's where it becomes a little tricky. So of course you fold in the wings, make everything look nice. And then these are where you plug them in. You just fold it in like that, fold it to wherever way you fit. If you want to flip it around, wait a second. No, I can do that. I forgot. I built it, so I understand how this thing works. Interesting. You get the butt skirts. That of course limit posability. And then top ones, you do the same thing. And of course, you are adding more weight to the torso. So please do not be shocked if all of a sudden he becomes a little front or back heavy, depending on the position you placed his feet. But oh my gosh, isn't that a sight? Isn't that like, this is for real like a video game backpack of where, I mean, of course you can't really store all these inside of him somehow, so he just deploys it, but doesn't this just give you nostalgia of like, oh, you're facing the boss with 1,000 drones and yet he can still move around like a ninja? Well, this guy is one of them. Of course, position the feet right, do everything right, and then you will not have a problem with him standing up straight. A little bit of a sucky thing depending on what you like and don't like about weapon storage is that he can't hold this gun on him, but I mean, even if you tried to put it on his back, there's barely any space for it to go there. Like, yeah, there's a tab on the back of his bottom waist joint, but I mean, where would you plug it in on this? I mean, yeah, of course you can make a hole, you can do anything, but if you would have to move the backpack or move that back flap, and these little guys are just positioned somewhere else. And I mean, if you can, go ahead, but if not, we're in the same boat. And then especially with the railgun, I mean, yeah, this ain't gonna fit anywhere. And thankfully, with the included stand, I have to say that, oh my gosh, does he look good in the air. I mean, of course, that's his literal point. He's supposed to be an air combat unit, but dude, just the sheer fact that he can hold his stuff. I mean, of course, other than the weapons. If you have a problem with that, I understand. I get you. Oh, and of course, his third sword, which if you want him to hold that, I do understand that, like, well, they could put that on the back. Then I'm with you there. It's like, you did all this beautiful work, but yet you couldn't add just a itty bitty little bit more, but oh well. And I definitely do feel bad about not showing you guys him with the swords. He's a very nimble, beautiful mobile suit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Peace. I also forgot to mention that it does come with the clear versions of all the orange parts. So if you don't want orange or you want clear, or you want to paint them yourself, you also have this option.